Hi guys, welcome. So today I'm going to cover the tilt tools for QwaPA. I will just go over the bare basics for this because it does take a little bit longer to explain than the make static and place anywhere. I will do another video with some more advanced uses for doing the tilting to make things a little bit easier for you. I've also got some exploits as well that I will add to that video. So first up, you need to have your make static tool active. If you are unaware, you've got to go into your chemistry workbench and craft it under utility to be able to use your make static in the first place. So the basic understandings of tilting, very much like make static, when you QwaPA select an object with square, that object is now the target destination for your tilt, and depending on what angle you have this object on will depend on what angle your other object that you want tilted ends up at. If you go to your workshop, you'll find the other tool that you need to use for this. So go into your specials tab and you will find the general selector post there. So part reason why I suggest you watch my other videos is to understand how these posts target objects. Just a reminder, that being the center, the closest center of any object that surrounds the post that's registered to the workshop. So now that I've put this post down here, that's going to find this floor. We'll set this box up on a bit of an angle here. I'll QwaPA select it. It allows me to make it static, but also sets it as the target for the tilting. We'll go to inventory, go over to miscellaneous and make that bread box static. This will help explain exactly how the tilting works and make it easier for you to know exactly how your object is going to end up. So now that I've selected this floor with the post, selected that box with QwaPA, when I press X on the post now to make the tilt, you'll notice it's now set to the exact same angle as what the base of the bread box is, and I'll explain that in a second. So I think the best way to explain this is to have a vertical object and a horizontal object, objects that come out of your build menu that way. So what they both have in common is they spin dead level to north, south, east, west. Every single object has a default orientation that way, and it's always dead level to north, south, east, west. It just depends on whether it's vertical or horizontal. So to reselect another object, you just pick up your general selector post and you place it. That will now target the closest center of an object there. As you can see, that's now as if you pulled it out of your menu. If I was to put a floor down on the ground and then a wall on top of it, it would be exactly like that, unless it was snapped, of course, but you get what I mean. Oh, we'll move you out of the way. Okay, so hopefully I'll get the wall this time. Alright, so to show you that, you can see that they both got the exact same ground placement sort of orientation now, but it's based on the base of the bread box. So all the tilt tools does is changes that base axis rotation. So what does confuse people a little bit is you might pick your object up, you'll turn around and go run around, and all of a sudden it looks like it's gone on this real crap funky angle. And that's where you've just got to be confident with how you place this all the time, knowing that it's going to take on the base axis of the object. So if I grab this now and bring it over here, it's still exactly on that rotation. So even though it seems like it's gone funky, it's just a little bit of a sort of head trick that happens, I suppose. Also, when you go to tilt the object, you might want it to come out that way, but it's come out that way, and as you can see, all I'd done there was rotated the object. So that's why I say you've just got to be confident that you've set the base of that object right in the first place to get the angle that you want. Alright, so another thing, once you've made a QwaPA select on the box, that remains the target the whole time until you go and select another object. And same as the post, the last thing that it was registered to will remain until you pick it up and place it and put it on another object. So for example, I'll go select that box now, and now when I activate, it goes over to that object. So you can set up multiple angles to try and figure something out how you may want it. Alright, and so the reason why I have this little setup here going is, if you have watched my other video, you'd know how to align things to grid now, or to a grid pattern that you've set for a building or whatever that might be. But just to go back over that quickly again, to be able to finish explaining what I'm getting at here. So I've got some snappable floors. Alright, so if I have the object turned that way, if I select that, it comes out that way. So I'll turn the object again. No matter how many times I go in and out of the menu, it will come out not on that same orientation. Select the object, deselect the object by pressing circle, bring the object out, and it will be lined up exactly like that, just using your left stick. Don't touch your right stick so you don't lose your grid alignment. Place some walls around the outside of it, put them down into the ground a little bit so you can get in and out easily, and that becomes a little jig for you. And what I do there, I've got the blast radius box and the bread box there purposely to show you that these are good pieces, not only because they're boxes, and you can just, especially the bread box, if you want to do something 90 degrees, plop it down like that. Because of the image on them, you can tell what direction they're facing all the time as well, which makes it a lot easier to know what's going on once you start doing the more odd sort of angles on things. Okay, yeah, so you can see the picture on the blast radius box. So I'll use these objects facing this direction all the time. That's to help limit any sort of confusion, so you can figure out exactly how things are going to end up. Alright, the reason why I've got the blast radius box and the chessboard here as well is you can see that the chessboard is only half the height of what the blast radius board is. So basically I use props for everything to set my angles for stuff, and by pressing these objects up against a wall means that they're as perfect to that grid that I've got going over there. I'll also do the same with my bread box. So then when you group select or grab by holding X, you can go over to the object, drop it down on it so it gets the angle, try it out. If you're not happy with that, move across to another object that is set at a higher angle, and you can keep doing that until your heart's content. So that's pretty much the basics of how it works, and I'll just show you here. We'll send this wall over to that box there, and that wall's now set to the angle of the base of that box. So as long as that's the key thing to remember, is that all you're doing is changing that default rotational axis that you have on the L2 and R2 buttons with objects straight out of your inventory to the angle that the base ends up of the object that you use as the target destination. So I will do the more advanced tutorials soon, which will explain why I've got all of these other things placed around the place. I'll show you how to easily turn walls and floors into roofs, walls in the floors, those sorts of things like that. They're just sort of some basic jigs that I use to make this sort of stuff quick and easy. And also you can see here with this one here, if you like to make stair rail by yourself, like custom stuff, or even just want a quick easy rough 45-degree angle, this set of stairs here is probably one of the closest things that you got straight out of your inventory that you can do that for. And it will also snap to any floors that you set down to do the grid and things like that. So yeah, because tilting's a little bit more in depth and needs a bit more explaining, I'll do a separate video for that. I do also have some exploits using build anywhere and place anywhere tools, make static your tilting, so I will make a video to show you all those things as well. This will allow you to do all sorts of cool stuff, so if you'd like to check those out, I will try to keep you posted within the week on at least one more tutorial on how to do this sort of stuff. So that's all from me, just for the basics of this, and you can just play around with that and figure things out for yourself, but I guarantee you some of these tricks you will not know. And if you haven't watched the other videos, I suggest that you do, even if you are familiar with QwaPA. I can't 100% guarantee you, but I think that most people will still find something that they don't know that will make things a lot easier for them, quicker, less frustrating, whatever the outcome might be. Okay, so that's all from me, and until the next video, I'll see you later.